museums I don't think were meant to collect everything necessarily anyway. But I suppose what I was suggesting by saying that museums didn't collect all of Aboriginal artefacts was just the idea that they might not have collected all Aboriginal artefacts. And secondly, I'm also interested in the idea that the artefacts that were collected were actually viewed through a particular lens. So I guess what flows from that is I'm interested in how, if viewed through a different lens, how some of those artefacts may have different readings, which kind of could be done now. So yeah, so either from a feminist perspective or an Aboriginal perspective or a queer perspective, there's all different, because obviously, in those sort of earlier historical collecting, it was all sort of heterocentric, white, yeah. I was going through the Flinders Uni art collection, and yeah, I didn't realise that Albert Namatjira had made these coat hangers, and they're extraordinary. So the coat hangers are kind of boomerang shaped as well, but they're handmade, they're individual, and then there's little, there's paintings on them as well. Yeah, so obviously they're I guess they're domestic kind of items too, and a lot of there's a great history of Aboriginal artists making work out of kind of domestic objects as well as kind of as paintings on on canvas. So I kind of yeah, so it's in that tradition, but I didn't realise that he was a participant in that tradition. I've made 3 sets of work that that kind of sit alongside those works, and they're sets of modesty plates, if you like. So they're kind of there's like a top that's being woven with it's kind of like a Ngarrindjeri weave, and it's with sort of bright, not always bright colour, but coloured wool with jute, which is a grass, and it's kind of like 2 sort of centric circles, and then they're kind of connected together. So it sort of looks like a bra. It could be a kind of wild pair of sunglasses, perhaps, or it could also be a like a landscape work as well when it's laid flat. And then the bottom half is kind of, I've made this sort of like a dilly bag, which is also a made up English word too, by the way, which we use in a they have multiple purposes, but somehow we've got them dilly bags for particular purposes. So I've made this dilly bag like object out of the same colours, and then there's a little kind of string around it, and you can wear it like underpants as well. So it's sort of like a bra and knickers in a way, but it could be also be other things. So, and yeah, so even with that work, that taps into this kind of idea of these things that maybe these types of artefacts were there in the past as well. Maybe just the straps were lost. Yet at the same time, it's obvious that they're not really, because they're made out of kind of modern materials. But but they do have that a particular look to them. So they could almost be something from the past. And yeah, or they could just be really, really made up, really. Or like, as I think Vernon Arkey says, and a lot of other Aboriginal artists have kind of coined this term of Ooga Booga art. So it's this kind of made up culture stuff. But yeah, I'm certainly open to the possibilities of that, and I think that would even challenge the idea about where the first bra came from and all of that. So yeah, so there's that set there. So they're very fun and playful, but they can be read in multiple ways. They've got yeah, they're just objects. Yeah. Daisy Baker's work is very kind of, it's fluorescent and it's colourful, and the original designs came about when she was a child along with other Ernabella children, and they were asked by their teacher to draw any old thing, which is in Ernabella language that's Wonka work. So they drew these, wild patterns. They were making something that they were told to make up. Yep. So yet at the same time, ever since those works that they made as children, they've continued to create those motifs in multiple formats now. So whether it's on silkscreen or ceramics, or paintings, it's the same motif. So now, whenever we see that motif, we think Ernabella culture.